I was into meth, alcohol. I went to drug treatment, and I walked into a gym and said, I want to start lifting. I want to start taking care of myself. And that's what changed my life around.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SuperSetYourLife.com podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration, entertainment, and education to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym. My name is Taylor Milton, and if this is your first time joining us, we're so glad you're here. Every week, my husband Colt and I pray and ask each other what kind of content our coaching members, clients, and podcast community could benefit from the most. Guests range from professional bodybuilders, nutrition doctors, fitness entrepreneurs, stand-up comedians, and sometimes it's just the two of us teaching on popular questions we get asked. And sometimes we interrupt each other, but we argue, but we're working on it. And you know what? That's what life is about, growing. We do not accept donations because this show is a labor of love and our gift to you as the listener. All we ask is that you share it and help spread the positivity. This is a team effort. If you keep helping us do that and spread the show, we will keep showing up to get you guys high-level guests to keep your fitness journey exciting and sustainable. If you'd like to support our mission, we do invite you to check out our website, SuperSetYourLife.com. Colt and I provide just about everything you need, from personalized workout and nutrition programs. Check out our website for a list of successful body transformations and follow Colt's Instagram @ColtMilton, where he posts success stories from our members every day. All our meal plans are personally written by Colt. He'll spend an entire day on a new program starting at the computer on the phone with a new client so that he fully understands what foods they prefer, what their schedule is like, what's their budget, and the equipment they have access to. Even if it's just a yoga mat and a cheap pair of dumbbells at home, somehow he manages to make it work for everybody and gets everything going for them, so they're set up for success and for their body transformation. Colt has won awards in 8 natural bodybuilding shows, as well as the Best Poser award in half of those shows. It's an art that I just love watching him do. He has experience in coaching male and female athletes in both men's and women's bodybuilding, men's and women's physique, men's classic physique, bikini and figure, and he's also putting together a group of athletes for fall of 2022, including old and new clients, and this is a surprise, guys. He is going to be competing and doing his prep on a carnivore diet. It is something you don't want to miss out on. It's going to be his best physique yet. Text COMPETE to Colt at 206-743-1346 for any questions you may have on the competitions. He'd love to hear from you. He pours his heart and soul into this, guys. It's what he loves. It's what we love. And coaching is what we were put on this earth to do. As a personal transformation, guys, Colt has been coaching me this last year, and I myself have lost almost 40 pounds. I've gained a ton of muscle. My confidence is somewhere I honestly didn't think I'd get to again. And mamas out there, I am fitting into my pre-baby clothes, and you know how good of a feeling that is. So guys, also on our website, you can find our entire SuperSet supplement line. We have whey protein isolate powder, chocolate cupcake, birthday cake, and peanut butter, which is our personal favorite. We have creatine, workout pump formula. All of our male and female athletes love it. It's a non-stim pre-workout that gives you energy and focus, but without the caffeine. So you can still enjoy your pre-workout energy drink or whatever you like to use for caffeine, coffee, whatever. We have those in the flavor of lemonade and blue raspberry, and they're both delicious. We have lots more, and we beat Amazon prices, and we also give out tons of samples in every order. So if you just want to sample something, let us know, and we can send you something your way. We also have our own motivational gym logbooks for you to track your progress, featuring quotes from pro bodybuilders, Olympic and professional athletes, and famous influencers. Our own patented Skullbellz workout equipment line, which is our Skull dumbbells and curl bars. They're pretty metal. I know that's what you're thinking, but they're awesome. We love them so much. And we have our Skull cable attachments, which you guys, if you haven't seen this or seen any of the videos Colt's posted, you have to go check out his Instagram. We have tons of reels on them. It is our extra long cable rope attachment. It is a must if you are a gym goer. And then anything Skullbellz related, follow our Skullbellz Instagram account @Skullbellz. And if you head over to our website, supersetyourlife.com, I promise you're going to find something that you love. And of course, there's a 100% satisfaction guarantee on all of our products and services. Lastly, guys, if you'd like to be a part of our Facebook community, text Facebook to Colt at 206-743-1346 or shoot him a DM on Instagram to be invited to our Facebook group, where we encourage, uplift, and inspire each other within our circle of friends and clients. Guys, it is an incredible group. We absolutely love it. And the culture we are just in the midst of creating is just like no other you'll find anywhere else. So definitely join that group. Colt's going to fill you in on all of our latest announcements, and then we'll jump into this week's episode. Have a great day, guys.
All right, everybody. And one last thing before we get into the interview with Mr. Nate is that we have 3 member slots open. So ask yourself this question: what do you want for Christmas of 2021? If you're listening to this before Christmas. And that is because at the time of this recording, we have 3 member slots open. We'll be completely caught up with all of our current members' programs finally. So you know what that means. We have time for 3 more ladies and gentlemen who are committed to burn muscle, build fat. Yes, you can do both at the same time. Improve your health and join our SuperSet team of athletes to look dramatically different by Christmas and start off 2022 ahead of the game. Your results are guaranteed, and your metabolism and habits are going to be rocking and rolling so you don't fall off the wagon during the holidays and lose all that hard work. We are here for you. Members must be sincerely wanting a change. So if you fit that description, hit me up, shoot me a text, 206-743-1346. Together, we will utilize scientifically and anecdotally proven meat-based dieting methods specialized to your lifestyle and preferences. This is what's been working for everybody. It's what's been working for me. Tested this out myself for the last about 18 months now. So it's my favorite way to diet, hands down, meat-based diet, baby. Interactive hypertrophy workout coaching personalized to your gym, even if it's just what you had work with at your house, maybe some bands and a cheap pair of dumbbells. Your experience level and your physique goals, and full daily communication and team support with Colt, myself, Taylor, and other members like you who have been with us for a while. So if a new physique sounds like a good Christmas gift to you, then hit up Taylor and myself, 206-743-1346. And with that, we are now ready for the interview. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nate Ensor. What's going on, podcast? We got Nate Ensor. He is a 3-time overall bodybuilding champion, having, at the time of this recording, won the overall at the NPC Northern Classic 1 week ago, where he and I met and got to know each other backstage. I was inspired not only by his physique, but also his drive and by his values and purposes in bodybuilding and how it's changed his life and been a tangible foundation of health, discipline, and motivation. Helps him be a better dad and a businessman. He's shared a lot of advice with my client and myself backstage, for which we are very grateful for. So it is an honor to continue this conversation, this time on our show. Nate is sponsored by Tennessee Pre-Supplements. That is the hoodie that he's wearing right now. You can follow Nate on Instagram at FitBeast253. Mr. Nate, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So how are you feeling this week?
Full. You know how it is after a show. You just you want to eat those foods that you haven't been eating for a while, but you know you can only get so full that it's just like, okay, time to calm down on the diet a little bit and get back to normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how Lawrence did. It was just like a couple meals, and he's like, you know what? Okay, I'm ready to get back to the reverse diet and just get back to the grind and start getting ready for the next one.
Exactly, totally normal, man. But that's the key for some people. It's like they don't know. You know, especially, you know, after your first couple shows, you kind of blow up sometimes. Yeah. So, you know, the more you compete, the more shows you do, you learn how to rebound.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna go into another prep? Or are you gonna take some time off? What's your goal after this?
Yeah, I'm taking some time off. After this show, winning the overall again, you know, I think I'm ready for a national show. So we're getting ready. I'm just waiting for dates on the USA's next year. So we'll plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next goal, you know.
Like around next fall?
So July. Last year was in July, the end of July.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Lawrence and I are shooting for probably like a month or two after that, or maybe sometime around then. We'll see towards the end of the summer how we're looking.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what was your expectation coming into the show? Like were you did you think you were going to win? Was it just like a hope? I mean, you've won the overalls before, so I guess it's nothing.
Well, you know, I you know, 5 weeks out, I got COVID, so That kind of took my energy levels for 2 or 3 weeks, and I was kind of indecisive on doing a show because I was so weak and so tired, and I couldn't train, and I couldn't, nothing was right. But I finally caught wind about 3 weeks out, and I decided start training hard, as hard as I could, anyways. And I finally decided to do the show, but my mentality going into a show is that I have to come in my conditioning. I have to look right, and I shouldn't have any problem doing well. I had a lot of people coming to see me, so I had a lot of pressure just to do well. So it's never going into a show thinking I'm going to win, because I don't want to be too confident.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. So I just want to bring the best me, and I'll be happy at that point. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until about 3 days out that I felt like I was going to win, to be honest.
Really?
But yeah, my conditioning wasn't on point yet. I was just training really, 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 really hard up until that point. And finally, you get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm ready.
It didn't look like there was anybody else that was more conditioned than you on stage. You had probably the most shredded glutes, which is, kind of weird to talk about for people that aren't familiar with bodybuilding. But I mean, your conditioning was extreme.
People backstage were talking about how my conditioning is ready for the next level. So,
oh yeah,
that's the goal.
Why did you decide to start competing in the first place?
2006. I was into meth, alcohol. I moved counties. I went to drug treatment, and I walked into a gym and said, I want to start lifting. I want to start taking care of myself. And that's what changed my life around. I walked into West Coast Fitness in Bremerton, and the guy that owned the gym said, you have the physique it takes to do bodybuilding. You should try it. He had all the trophies. He was a natural competitor. So I just kind of started getting into bodybuilding, and it kind of kept me out of trouble and kind of kept me on the straight and narrow. And that's when I started to change my life around. It was 2006. I started competing in 2010. My first show was the Northern Classic in 2010.
Was Chris still promoting it back then?
Yep, I think so.
Awesome guy.
I don't remember who was promoting it that year, but the following Northern Classic I did was 2017 or 18 or something. That was the next show that I did in the NPC.
Nice. I love how professional Chris handled everything with the mandates, and with how people were reluctant to follow him. They didn't really want to, and so he wasn't being a jerk about it, but he was like, guys, like, if we want to have this show, we have to do this. These competitors trained too hard for everybody to not follow all the guidelines and everything. And so even I was like, okay, I'll be a good sport, because it's about you guys in the end, not the people that are there to watch. So yeah, he's always very respectful and always puts on a good show, no matter what the circumstances are. Unfortunately, last year nobody could really have a show. So, but he went through it this year, and sometimes the shows aren't about making money. It's just about supporting the culture, and supporting the bodybuilders and people in fitness, and that's what it's all about, man. It's just the camaraderie, the whole fitness community. They're just good people, and I just love doing that show every time I'm a part of it. No, I kind of want to do that same show actually next year. I'm just like, all right, it's a year out. I know exactly what to expect. I love all the judges, man. The judge, I couldn't believe how they all genuinely just care about the athletes. I mean, not that I expected anything less, but being able to meet Tangi Johnson, and being able to meet Chris and all the judges, really, like, they're so willing to just drop everything they're doing. I'm like, I'm a nobody compared to these guys, and how I'm like, hey, like, what advice do you have for a competitor? Hey, here's what my physique is right now. What advice do you have for me? And for them to just like put everything aside and go, oh, if I were you, I'd focus on this, tell your guy this, and this, and they'll just they want everybody to be their absolute best. I love the environment there. The whole thing was amazing. The whole experience. the culture.
I agree.
Yeah. Well,
it always makes it worthwhile, the prep that you go through, the end result, just being at the show, being backstage. That's the reward for me, not just stepping on the stage, not just getting that trophy, but just the fun you have while you're in the show. It makes it all the prep, all the hard work, all the diet, everything just worth that one day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you remember that feeling and you remember how it was worth it. And then your next prep is almost in a way easier because you know what you have to look forward to.
Right.
Yeah. That's a super inspirational story, man, from your background and everything. I had no idea. And talking to you now, with like having first met you, I would have never guessed that you came from where you did to where you are now. And I imagine that bodybuilding has probably been a source of foundation and an outlet and a way for you to tangibly go, okay, you know what, no matter what else is happening in my life, my meals are always on point, my diets are on point, my training's always on point. These are all things that are within my control, and whatever happens outside in the world doesn't change what I do every day. Have you found some peace and some stability and discipline in that?
Right. A lot of people that, people see that you're a bodybuilder and that you work out a lot and that you're into fitness, but they don't see when they come over and they spend some time with you, then they realize, like, okay, this guy's cooking food all the time. Like every 2 hours he's eating, he has all his meals ready, like all that work every day, 7 days a week. Like people don't understand, like people that aren't like bodybuilders or fitness competitors, or it's like, it takes so much time and so much work into, bodybuilding and fitness that, it's incredible. How these athletes do it. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it becomes all consuming, and it gets to the point to where everything that you do throughout the day, like even in regards to your stress level, it's like something that would normally stress you out. You just try not to let it bother you because that's cortisol, and that's going to affect it'll literally affect your physique, and it'll affect your progress, and so every little thing you have to start putting into perspective of, is this going to help me accomplish my goal, or is this going to be an obstacle, and this is going to be something that holds me back? And it's a lot of work, but then eventually, you probably know this too, is that those habits just become in place, and then it's just kind of all and it's like, all right, well, it's either going to be more work on the front end and look the way that I want to and be healthy, or it's going to be more work on the back end and more doctor's bills and
right. Yeah, I agree with the positive attitude. That plays a critical role in your the way you look and the way you feel. You have any negative attitude, it's going to affect, your stress levels, and negative attitude is going to affect the way you feel and look. There was a turning point at my, where I work. I had a bad negative attitude, and I couldn't get through my days at work. And then me and my boss had a one-on-one. He's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, so I told him, we just both got it out in the air. I'm just like, I'm burnt out. Like, we just got everything out in the air, off the shoulders. And after that, this was like 2 weeks out. After that, it was just like smooth sailing. It was just like positive attitudes, just work grind, and just smooth sailing into the show. And everything changed from that moment on, as far as the way I felt and looked. It was just incredible how everything can change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just from your positive mindset.
Mm-hmm. So you got COVID 5 weeks out from the show. I got COVID about 5 months ago, and it was hands down the worst sickness I've ever had personally. Worse than any flu, worse than anything else. And not that it was at its lowest, worse than like having the flu. I mean, that was probably the worst, but
right.
But it just never went away. I don't know if you noticed this, but like it would get worse, and then you feel like you're getting better, and then the next day all of a sudden you're down in the dumps again, and it is annoying. It just never goes away. It took forever.
Right. Like you said, like the flu, like I was puking for 1 or 2 days, and then I felt better. Started to feel better. Mm-hmm. But this was just like lingering effects, like just the energy that wasn't there. And then, the constant symptoms, one day feeling a little bit better, the next day feeling like you couldn't move. And then, I still don't have smell and taste 100%, like I'm about 50% maybe still, I still can't taste or smell things. And I still have a little fatigue, a month and a half, 2 months later. Like you said, it's just been like the worst. I don't know what you call it, man.
Well, if you can do a contest prep and win an overall while having COVID, I mean, dude, there's probably not a lot that you can't do. I would just look at the rest of like anything else that happens next with that perspective. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how I got through it, man. I just, pushed and pushed and pushed. And
so you obviously had to do most, if not all, your workouts at home then, huh?
Yeah, just quick. Whatever energy I had, I used it. I used it at home in the gym, and just stayed on my meals as much as I could, even though I was at home, and I still had an appetite. So I did fall off the track a couple times as far as my diet. But the closer I got to the show, the more stricter my diet got, and then finally started to feel better, started to recover a little bit, and it's just everything as far as timing wise, just all came together at the right time. That's what it's all about. It's just timing.
Yeah. Awesome. What pro bodybuilder has been the most inspirational to you?
I would have to say Jay Cutler. When I started getting into bodybuilding, he was kind of like the new era. When I first opened the magazine, Flex magazine, it was Jay Cutler, man. Right when him and Ronnie Coleman were battling it out, he brought on just, the new era of bodybuilding, YouTube. A couple preps I did, I just was using his YouTube videos all the way through my prep. I've just looked up to him in bodybuilding mostly. Also people like Kevin Levrone, Dorian Yates, he's a legend. Just guys, old school guys like that, that's where I come from.
Why don't you do classic physique then? Just a curiosity.
I'd have to drop down to middleweight at least.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to sacrifice the muscle that I already have.
And if you're competitive in bodybuilding, then screw it.
Right, exactly. That's the road I want to take. I could drop down to middleweight. That was my goal as far as to turn pro as bodybuilding, was to drop down to middleweight and try classic physique. But at this point, getting down to 176 pounds is just not something I can do physically. When I hit 185 pounds, it's just like I can barely walk around and work under a hood. You know what I mean? So at 176 pounds, I would have to really sit down and rest and not have to do very much physical activity. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how my next prep is going to go, but I plan on putting some size into my legs and my overall body. So if I add more muscle, that means more weight. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna sacrifice it if I don't need to.
I'm glad you said legs, because that's also my biggest priority over these next 7-8 months is going to be focusing on leg growth. Any specific part of the leg that you're trying to develop the most?
Quads.
Growth.
Quads. Definitely, my hamstrings were definitely a strong point. Finally, my hamstrings, glutes, just my overall quad thickness and width. Just get those outer quads to flare out, inner quads to flare out, and then I should be okay. But everybody always wants bigger legs. It's just getting them to get that way.
Yeah. What are your go-to leg exercises? What's your style of training? Do you go more for like hypertrophy, 15 to 20 reps and lots of time under tension and blood flow? Or do you focus more on the big heavy lifts, or a combination of the two?
A little bit of a combination, but what gets my quads to fire is about 10 to 12 reps, very high volume, very high weight. That's what gets my quads to really blow up.
Huh.
Lots of exercises, high volume, high weight. And as the prep gets closer, you know, you do a few more reps, but usually it stays you stay lifting heavy all the way through prep. Because, you know, if you're going to drop down the weight and do more reps, you're just going to, you know, you're going to bring out the muscle fibers, but then you might lose a little bit of muscle.
Yeah, you lose that density. You know, I have a real good friend of mine. This is very common. Everybody thinks, I don't know why everybody thinks this, but they start dieting and they're like, oh yeah, no, so everything I'm doing is lightweight and high reps now. I'm not lifting anymore. And I'm like, that's what got you that muscle in the first place. You know, like you have to keep doing that or you're going to lose it.
If you look at all the pros and check out their videos, they're specifically saying, you know, if you're going to lift heavy weight in the off season, you better lift that heavy weight, you know, before you're doing a show, because you're going to keep your size, you're going to keep everything. You just got to push through. If you can lift it during the off season, you better be able to lift it pre-contest.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to be setting any records or anything, but you got to.
Exactly.
It's heavy though.
You just got to be careful and don't injure yourself.
Yeah. Especially on the muscle groups that are predominantly fast twitch fibers too, like the legs and the back. I mean, you know, I don't think anybody should be doing a heavy clean and jerk or a heavy overhead press or anything the day before the show. But
right, you just got to lift smart. You just got to know your limits.
Yeah,
concentrate on the form and not the weight, really.
Speaking of shoulders, your physique was overall extremely well balanced for whatever it's worth coming from me, but your shoulders I was particularly impressed with, and maybe that is also has to do with that's because that's also been one of my weak points over the years. What's been some of your go-to shoulder exercises, man?
A lot of I do a lot of presses.
Barbell or dumbbells?
Both. I do a lot of free weights. I do a lot of seated side raises that grows the outer shoulder, makes your shoulder look bigger. Mm-hmm. Also, you want to do like some incline raises to get the front cap. You know, like the incline raises just with the cable, with your fist parallel, kind of narrow. So you just hit that, you know, the inner cap.
Okay.
I can't really explain it, but I just do it. Inner cap. I just focus on the whole round, you know, the inner, the outer, and the rear. I do a lot of bent over raises and rope pulls, anything to get the, you know, the reverse pec deck, anything to get the rears to pop. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll do them on back day, but mostly I'll do a fully rounded shoulder day.
Nice.
If I was in the gym doing chest and shoulders, I'd be there for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I split the two.
Okay. What's your favorite pose?
I would have to say the side chest, side try is my knockout pose.
Yep. Favorite contest prep food?
Protein pancakes. I make my own protein pancakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You make a pudding out of the whey and the you know, your post-workout carbs, which is, you know, cream of rice or oats or Carbolin or whatever. Even if you're not doing any carbs, just the whey, the probiotic, the glutamine, all your powders you mix up and you just fry it. And, you know, your 0-calorie syrup or your PB2 powder,
mm-hmm.
It's like your dessert, you know. That's my favorite meal of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll eat that after my workout. Sometimes I'll make a shake out of it if I want something cold.
You supplement glutamine. That's something that I haven't supplemented in a while. I just kind of forgot about it, but I know a lot of people swear by it and say it really helps. Have you found glutamine to be a helpful supplement?
It's a great supplement for recovery. I don't leave it out. I always have it, you know, 2 or 3 times a day, whether it's in my protein, whey protein, or whether I just get it off the counter and scoop it in with whatever. I mean, but definitely you have to get more glutamine in you 2, 3, 4 times a day. I haven't stopped taking that for years. So nice. That helps with the whole healing process, your joints, everything.
Good. Yeah. We have that coming in on we just placed a $1,000 supplement order for protein powders and vitamins and creatine, basically everything. And I forgot about glutamine, so I saw it in our supplier's catalog, metabolic nutrition. I was like, oh hell yeah, we gotta add that to it. So, yep, getting that in. Do you have a coach? And if so, have you found this to be an essential component of your training?
I have a team. I would have to say. I was with Turner-Riddle for a couple of years. After my show last year, we kind of parted ways, but we're still good friends. Mm-hmm. He's more of a mass monster. I was more of a middleweight, light heavyweight, kind of stuck there in that area. He wanted me to put on more size, but anyways, we kind of deferred from that. But we're still friends. He will be part of my team next year. Another IFBB pro would be Dustin Bice. He's going to be part of my team. He was at that Northern Classic Backstage. He had a client there. He is just a really good friend of mine too. He was also my first coach. And then also a woman by the name of Kimberly Bickley. She is a physique amateur athlete she's been on national stage, and she took second. So she's almost turning pro. She was the one who helped me get through this prep as far as nutrition. She had an eye on me every day, dialed me in. You gotta have people there during your prep, or else you're gonna fold. You're gonna crack at the seams. You got to have somebody there to have an eye on you and figure out what you're doing wrong or what you need to do to dial you in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as far as a coach, I have a team, and you just got to use your resources to get you to where you need to go.
If you had one piece of advice to somebody that's like, you know what, I've thought about doing a show, I'm not really sure if I want to do it or not, something I think that I want to do, what would your advice be to somebody that's considering bodybuilding and stepping on stage for the first time, getting ready to do a show?
Just train hard and be consistent. If you're going to do a show, then do a show. Don't talk about doing a show and not do it. That's my motto. Don't talk about it, be about it. If you see on my Facebook, that's right there on my profile. I'm just the type of person to do it. If I say I'm going to do it, then I do it. You just got people out here they go into the gym and they're like, yeah, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm a fitness competitor. I mean, all the power to you. You're walking into the gym, you're doing something to better your life. But if you talk about doing it, then do it. You know what I mean? Because you won't regret it once you step on that stage. I think it'll be something that'll change your life around, and it'll help you reset your goals, and it'll change your perspective on your drive and the way you go about your daily life.
Well, thank you for that.
I want to thank you for getting me on here and getting out of my comfort zone as far as being social, even though I'm big on social media. But person to person is a little difficult for me. But I want to thank you. I want to thank my sponsor, Tennessee Pre, Kimberly Bickley. Also, she was a big help for me. And just thank everybody in the fitness community. And thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thanks for squeezing me into your schedule. And got to pick up this conversation again sometime, and we'll see each other at NPC show here in a year or two. So,
yeah, most definitely. I appreciate it.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us on this episode. If you found this helpful or entertaining, we ask if you would please share this with a friend. We also would love to hear what you think of our show, so any ratings or reviews are very much appreciated. We have a new episode every Saturday morning, so please subscribe so you don't miss them. Thank you again, and God bless.